This beautiful French door I have in my bedroom was recently installed, and I was eventually going to have a patio built outside. But just like any homeowner, you do one project at a time when you have the money. So I had the door put in with the eventual hope of putting a patio out there. And because this is the only window in the bedroom, I would leave it open some nights to just get some airflow. The dogs like to sit in front of it to stay cool at night, and I put the dog bed in front of the patio door that night. Had the door open, just one side. Screen door was shut. I woke up to go to the bathroom and wasn't paying attention to where I was going. I was probably still sleepy. And I tripped over the dog bed. And I remember I tripped, and it made me really scared because I couldn't see where I was falling. And I remember reaching out for the screen door to catch me because it was the first thing coming at me. And a screen door is not going to stay in place if you fall into it. And I fell into the screen, tried to catch myself. The screen popped out, and the screen and I fell 15 feet to the grass below. So I landed, and I couldn't stand up. I couldn't push up with my hand. So my adrenaline kicked in, and between that and the shock I was in, I just dragged my body on my elbows to my car, which was parked about 30 feet away, I want to say. So I luckily got to crawl through grass, so it didn't hurt too bad. So I pulled my body up into the car just so I could sit because I was in my pajamas. It was starting to get light out. I didn't really know what else to do. All the doors to the house were locked. So my first reaction was just go sit in your car until you figure out what to do next. And so I was sitting there, and I didn't really know what to do. And luckily, my phone, which was in the house, was still getting a connection to the car through the Bluetooth, and I hit the button on the touchscreen pad in my Volvo, and it still had a connection, and I just thought, I'm just going to dial 911. I don't know what else to do. So I dialed 911, and the operator could barely hear me. She couldn't hear anything I was saying, but she could hear that I was there and that I needed help. And she sent a cop over, who then realized what had happened, and sent an ambulance to my house. And I was taken to Door County Medical Center. I got to the hospital, I want to say around 7 a.m. My parents came, my boyfriend Chris came. Around 11 a.m. is when they informed me, this is what happened. You broke your femur in your hip, and you broke your wrist. You shattered your wrist completely, and you broke several ribs in your back. And you have to have emergency surgery today. And what a lot of people don't know about Sturgeon Bay Medical Center is that they really actually have an amazing surgical team there, and they were able to do my surgery within a few hours. I was prepped for surgery by noon and in surgery by 1 o'clock. Undoubtedly, that was the scariest thing I've ever been through in my life, not knowing if I'd ever walk again, not knowing if I'd ever be able to use my left hand again. One of the first things I remember when I got out of surgery, I was laying in my hospital bed, and I was looking around, and the sun was setting. I had a west-facing room, and the sun was setting, and it was this bright orange sun just coming in the window, and I just remember thinking, like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Like, I don't know what it was, but I just, like, had this sense of peace come over me. By the 4th day, they sent me on my way and told me, this is it. You got it, you're going to have to go face the world. I was not ready to go. I did not want to leave that place. Not for a second. I wanted to stay there forever because I was scared. I needed constant care. I needed someone to feed me, to bathe me, to help me go to the bathroom, because I couldn't walk. I couldn't use my left hand. And there were some really dark days that I just wanted to give up. I didn't care. There was a lot of things that kept me going, and my family did a lot for me. They did everything for me. They drove me everywhere. They fed me. They did anything I needed. And I don't know what I would have done without them. Having to go to physical therapy and relearn how to use all those muscles and gain my strength back was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. I had lost all movement and feeling in my hand, and even to this day I have very little feeling in my fingers, but I'm able to move my fingers now, which was something I couldn't do. I had a cast on, I think, for 2 months. But I'm still in therapy, still working on a lot of stuff, but luckily I will get a lot of the movement back eventually. They tell me it's going to be about a year till my wrist and my leg are back to normal. Well, they're never going to be back to normal, but back to as normal as they can be, I guess. I don't know if I'll ever be able to run again. They tell me they're not sure, which is really a hard pill to swallow. Because of my injury, because of what happened to me and my limitations, I was not able to work and make the income that I normally make. And I'm lucky to have the jobs I do in Door County and have the year-round employment, and I had a savings account, which has helped me a lot. But because of not being able to work, I was not making anywhere near the income I was making before. So all of my savings was depleted, and just on top of that, getting an enormous hospital bill in the mail that almost put me over the edge. But luckily, Door County Medical Center is very community-minded. They are incredibly nice to work with. They're just kind and caring. Every person I've encountered at that hospital has been just so genuinely kind and caring. And I honestly couldn't have asked for a better hospital to deal with and go through this with, because everyone from my physician's assistant, Phil Bryan, to the financial office, to the nurses, to my surgeon, just everyone has just been incredible to work with. After I got my hospital bills, I was able to contact the financial office, and, not having insurance at this time could have been a huge burden, but they were actually able to help me with that part. They have a community fund that is for people that don't have insurance, and I don't know what I would have done without it. So luckily, I was able to have a percentage of my bills taken care of through this Door County Community Fund, which I don't think you find in too many places. One of the nicest things someone did for me was my boyfriend, Chris, started a GoFundMe page for me. He could see how much I was struggling, and he saw every step of the way, this entire process of the accident to where I am today, and he's just been my biggest supporter. And then, asking for help is hard. But you just have to remember, you'd want to help someone else too. And, everything comes full circle. And all you can do is just pay it forward the rest of your life. As hard as it is to ask, I do have a substantial amount of medical bills that I have to pay for each month, and every little bit helps me so much. Even just emotional support helps me, but just helping with those, any help I get with those bills just helps me so much. It really helps me just even in my day-to-day, just knowing that I'm going to get through each day, and just knowing that I'm going to be okay, and that I will be able to pay it forward someday.